your life. So often, when we hear about the word calling, we mean our job or our career. We use it as a word to describe our job or career. Also, Christians will often use the word called or calling to refer to, like, if Jesus is directly telling me to do something. Like, I feel called to be a missionary, or I feel called to even, like, go across the hall and say something to my dorm mate, or something like that, right? So people use calling in those ways. Those are true. But what I want to tell you is that calling is actually, those are just specific instances, specific examples of a bigger thing. So calling is actually bigger than either of those two things. Those two are examples of how calling works. Calling itself is a bigger thing. And what calling is, in the big sense, is just being the person Jesus has made you to be in all the various places in your life that you find yourself. That's what calling is. Being the person Jesus made you to be in all the different places you find yourself in life. And so what we're going to do is to figure out, start to think about what is your calling. And in order to do that, we started this morning with the 5 words exercises. You've begun to discern 5 words that capture the person Jesus has made you to be. And you're in process, right? So the description, those 5 words, they may not be who you are yet, but they're who Jesus is making you to be. Calling is just figuring out, how can I be this person in all the different parts of our life? So I want you to, can you find your conference booklet? And flip to your Voices page right now. The Voices page from last night. So take a look at that, and this is, remember, this was a map, a diagram of all the different places that are speaking to you, all the voices that are speaking to you. But here's the trick. These are not just places that define you. These also are the very places where Jesus wants you to live out your 5 words. Right? All the places that try to define you, if you can sort of imagine it, all those places have arrows pointing toward you, right? To tell you who you should be. Reverse those arrows and say, these are all the different places where Jesus is calling you to be the person he's meant you to be. So flip to the next page, to the page that's titled God's Calling. So flip over one more. It should be on to your right. It should be on the right. There should be a page that says God's Calling. And you can see how this is going to work. We're going to give you about 30 minutes alone, and just as you stay where you are, to work on this page and the next couple of pages. I'll walk you through it, okay, so it'll take a little bit. As you can see on this page, you're going to write down your 5 words. And by the way, it's okay if you're still working on them, like even in the process of this afternoon, if you feel like, oh wait, I think I'm going to change this one, or I don't think that one's right, it's okay to still be working on them. Just write down your 5 words, and then at the bottom, look at the arrows. You're supposed to live in all these different worlds in your life, right? You go home, you've got AACM here, that's maybe hopefully right now there's a group of friends. You're going to go home to other groups of circles of friends on campus. Maybe in your hometown, there's a circle of friends in your family, or all the different places. You might be on a sports team or in a student organization. All these places are different circles. And in every single one of those places, God wants you to live out those 5 words, to be that person in all those different places. So, like some of these places are going to be actual places, like your dorm or apartment mates, But most likely, they will be social spaces. So like your dorm, it's not really talking about the place, it's talking about the relationships you have there. If it's your apartment, it's your roommate or housemates. For many of us, our family will be significant, even if we're not living near them. For a lot of us, it's going to be various circles on campus. So what I want you to do is, you write down your 5 words. In each of those boxes, write down what are the most important, significant places in social circles that you need to live out those 5 words. So you can kind of have some time to fill that out first. The first thing you're going to do, write your 5 words, identify the most important places where you are living out those 5 words. And then, flip to the next page. I want you to pick one of them. And we're going to do a little bit of we're going to do a little bit of analysis, that's where the workshop is going to be, that help us figure out how to be God's person in this place. Okay, so you're going to pick one of those boxes. I'm specifically going to ask you to pick one spot that you would have it on campus. So if you, not necessarily some place off campus like your family at home, although that may be something God calls you. That's certainly someplace God calls you. But for the sake of this exercise, pick a circle on campus, and if possible, pick a social space that's not AACM. Certainly AACM fits for many of you, that would be on one of the boxes. But pick like an important, significant friend circle, that's not AACM. If you don't have a significant friend circle outside AACM, then you can pick AACM, but you really should get out more. The next one, I'm not judging you. I'm just making it crack. But then I've got a series of questions. These questions some of them may not be that easy, so just give it a try to answer these questions. And the purpose of these questions is to try to help you understand the dynamics of the group that you're living in. So the group that you're interacting in, you have to be God's person in a very specific social circle. And if you're on, let's say you're on the UT football team. I don't think any of you are on UT. So let's say you're on the UT football team versus, that's a very different kind of circle than, let me just name another one, I don't know, University Orchestra, right? So that's another kind of circle, and if that's your significant circle, how you live out God's calling depends on one, you're going to be different, right? Because your 5 words are going to be unique to you, but also that circle is going to be unique, and how you live out God's calling there is going to look different because you're particular and that group is particular. You understand? So we did the 5 words now. We're going to try to apply that and answer these questions. Like I said, if you can't answer them all, what you'll do is in your family groups, you'll get a chance to be able to talk to each other about it. We're going to ask the family group leader or one of the family group leaders to just be the first one to model answering the questions. I think all of you are 2, is that right? So just decide between you, you don't even decide now. Like when you get there, decide which one of you will go first to sort of model, and then you'll have a chance to talk about it amongst yourselves and help each other. I'm going to ask staff, if possible, to sort of rotate amongst the groups or sit into a group or 2 just to be there and listen and answer questions and help out. So here's how we want to do it. 30 minutes by yourself. That will be in here. And try to answer the question yourself. So fill out the God's calling diagram. Pick one space on campus. Try to go through the questions. After 30 minutes, we'll send you off to family groups. Family groups can stay here or go somewhere nearby-ish so that staff can sort of jump into your group. And then whenever you're done, go to free time. Don't and try not to take too long with your family groups, just so that people have their free time. But make sure you get a chance for people to share. So we're going to have 20 minutes. So 20 minutes by yourself, and then I'll come back up and say, go, and we'll have some questions for your family group. Go. Up and speak. 3, 2, 1, go.